And welcome back. And today I'm with one of my heroes, a true inspiration, and you're going to see why in a minute. And this is Forrest Willett. Hi, Forrest.
Hi, Marco.
From tiny Ontario, Canada, and that's actually the name of the town.
It is.
So tell us your story.
October 6, 2002. I had a car for sale. The gentleman wanted to try it out. So I sat in the passenger seat and gave him the keys. He was trying the car out at a high rate of speed and talking on the cell phone to his son and lost control. The car left the road and flipped end for end several times. And I woke up 10 days later with a catastrophic brain injury. So I had lost everything, my ability to read and write, the ability to speak fluently, my mobility, had no balance or depth perception. Basically, I was a 2-year-old in a 31-year-old body.
Wow. And how long were you in the hospital for?
I was in the hospital for a few months, then in and out over the next few years. I had 14 different surgeries, so I was in and out of the hospital over the next 2.5 years. And I spent 5.5 years in rehabilitation, so I had a speech therapist 3 to 4 days a week for 5.5 years, and occupational therapist, just relearning the basic skills of life.
And I believe the doctor said that you would never speak correctly again.
Yes, they gave up hope after about 2 years. They said that I'd reached 95 to 98% of my spontaneous recovery, so that I've plateaued, which means that that's as good as I'm going to get, so that I should learn to accept and live with the abilities and disabilities that I've been given.
But then what happened?
I was actually suffering from depression, laying in bed one day, and because that's what you do when you're depressed, is lay around a lot, and I did that for years. And the TV talk show came on, and it said, coming up next is a book by Jack Canfield, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be, the Success Principles. And first time in a few years, I sat up, and something got my attention. And I thought, I don't know where I want to be, but I don't want to be here anymore. So after the commercial break, Jack Canfield came on and explained some of the principles in his new book. He said, it doesn't matter your current circumstances, what you've been through in life, or your background. If you apply these principles, you can transform your life. So I called my wife into the room to write the name of this book down, The Success Principles. And when I first got the book, I brought it to my speech therapist, and she thought I was being overly ambitious because at that time I was just reading children's magazines, trying to read to my son. There's only 12 words per page, and I had a hard time reading that. So we set a goal that I would give myself 1 year to read the book, and if I didn't read the book, that I would not beat myself up emotionally as I had done in the past. And
the Success Principles is a 400 and some page book. It's a pretty thick book.
Book. Yes, very, very thick book. So it took me just over a year to read it, and as I read the book, I would start to apply these principles. And as I applied these principles, I started to change my life, and amazing things started to happen. I returned to school and graduated. Within 1 year, I got off all medication, depression pills, and painkillers, all gone. I received the Lieutenant Governor's Award for community volunteering. So my life had just transformed within 1 year of applying these principles.
Wow, that's amazing. And so what do you do now?
Now I travel around and I speak all around the world about the success principles, and I share it with people because if they apply these principles, it's so amazing how their lives can change. And I speak in hospitals and schools to build the self-esteem of people and help them overcome depression also.
Wow, it's incredible. I mean, you went from speechless to speaker.
Yes, it's just, I couldn't believe it. And when Jack did this interview on the television, he said, what would you do if there were no limitations, if anything was possible? And I laid there thinking, I would take all my liabilities and turn them into assets. So not only would I learn to read and write, I would write books. And not only would I learn to speak fluently, I would become a speaker. And I've achieved every one of those goals.
Wow, fantastic. So now you can see why Forrest is a true inspiration and one of my heroes. And thank you for tuning in.